guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to discuss about the basic concepts of JavaScript like variables, arrays, functions, objects and loops. Let us discuss them about one by one. Variables. Variables generally store data for temporary purpose. In JavaScript, variables are used to store data that can be referenced and manipulated throughout your code. You can think of them as containers for values. JavaScript offers several ways to declare variables, each with its own characteristics. The main variables we use in JavaScript are let, var, const, var. This is the traditional way of declaring variables in JavaScript. Variables declared with var are function scoped, meaning they are only available within the function in which they are declared. If declared outside of a function, they are globally scoped. One important thing to note about var is that it is hosted to the top of its scope, which means it can be used before its declaration in the code. The syntax for variable wait a minute. The syntax for variable is var, variable name and the value we are going to assign. Example like I given a variable name of name and I given the value like sita. So the output will be sita by using the console.log statement. Next let. Let allows you to declare variables with a block scope, which means they are only accessible within the code and enclosed within the brackets where they are defined. The name itself tells us about that we can change the value of the code variable name within the code. Example, I given let a is equals to 18. If it is true, I goes to let a is equals to 30 console.log statement and prints 30. If not, it prints 18. Next, constant. Constant is used to declare variables whose values should not be reassigned after their initialized state. It means that we cannot change the variable value once they are assigned. Syntax is constant variable name equals to value. Example code constant pi equals to 3.14, which means we cannot change the value of pi in any language. And next, arrays. Arrays in JavaScript are used to store multiple values in a single variable. They are a fundamental part of the language and provide a way to work with collection of data. Here is a comprehensive overview of arrays in JavaScript. The syntax of array is to create an array is let array name and the collection of elements. The example code that I given is I given array names and I given set of collection of items like sita-rathnam-attada. To access and modify elements in array, we use 0-base index, which means that here sita is 0 index, rathnam is first index and attada is second index. The operations that we can do on arrays are push, pop, shift, unshift, splice, slice, contact, sort, reverse, etc. Push, which means to add an element at the end of an array, like after attada, based on the previous example. Pop, to remove the last element, like removing attada. Like shift, remove the first element, it removes the sita. Unshift, adding element at the beginning, like add an element before sita. Splice, add or remove elements at a specific index, like here as you can see, by using the array name and index of 1, I modified the name Rathnam to Priya, so the output will be Priya. This is somewhat related to modification. And next, splice, add or move elements, that is completed. Next, slice, create a new array from portion of the original array. That means we can create a new array from the existing array. Contact, merging two arrays into a one array. This is a most used for arithmetic operations. And next, third topic is function. It is a fundamental building block where we perform tasks. Functions can perform tasks, calculate values, execute a set sequence of statement. Syntax for function is function, function name, and the parameters that we want function body to execute. Sorry, and we have to give some closing bracket. Next, objects. Object is a data structure that allows you to store collection of data and more complex elements. Object consists of key value pairs where each key, also known as a property, is a string or a symbol, and the value can be any data type, including other objects or functions. Object syntax, object literal notation. This is the common way. Why it is happening like this? This is the common way to create object using curly braces within the key value pairs. In the example code, I given a name like person, and I use the properties like name, age, and I call the function for accessing object properties. There are two type of things we can do for accessing the object properties, like dot notation, bracket notation. Dot notation, which represent object name dot the property that we require. Like I require name here, so I used person dot name, which gives the output like Sita. And for bracket notation, it is represents like person bracket and the property that we require. So here given the output is 18. Next, the last and most important concept in JavaScript is loops. Loops are used to execute a block of code repeatedly under certain conditions. The type of loops we mainly use in JavaScript are for loop. The loop is generally purpose that runs a block of code a specified number of lengths. If we know if the iteration is finite number of times, we use for loop. The syntax for loop is for initialization, condition, increment, and the code to be executed or iterated. Example, let I is the variable name, and this is the initialization, condition, and increment. This is the block of code I want, and the output is 0, 1, 2, 3. And while loop. The while loop continues to execute code as long as the condition remains true. Syntax, while condition, code to be executed. Same logic I used for every loops in this video. So here the output is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next do while loop. The do while loop executes the code block once before checking the condition and then continues as long as the condition remains true. The difference between while and do while is while checks the condition and runs the loop, but do while loops it executes the code once and then next it checks the condition. Same do, code to be executed, and while the condition that we want. And next, for in loop. The for in loop iterates over the innumerable properties of an object. And for off loop. The for off loop iterates over iterable objects like arrays, strings, or other functions yielding values. The syntax for off loop is for let the value of iterable code to be executed. Excuse me. And the last is control statements. The control statements we have are two: break, continue. Break executes the loop, exits the loop immediately. Continue skips the current iteration and proceeds to the next iteration of the loop. Examples of break are for variable I equals to 0, condition, and an increment. This is the if condition that I want. If it meets this condition, it should break the loop. So even though its condition is less than 10, but it only gives the output up to 4 as it meets uh, the 5 and it breaks. Next, continue. It is like giving the odd numbers of the code. Skip even and give odd numbers to print odd numbers. For I equals to 0, I less than 10, up to 10, I have to print how many numbers are odd. So I used this logic and it given the output like 1 2 3 1 3 5 7 9. And thank you guys for watching this video. For more videos, subscribe my channel and like, share, comment. Thank you so much.